How's it going, everybody? This is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com, and today we're here to look at the Amazfit Pace fitness watch. We are here to break it down. Is it worth the price? Should you pick one up? We are going to answer all of these questions. Also, thank you to GearBest for providing us with our review samples. You can head to GearBest to pick one up for yourself for around $140, which is quite cheap for a smartwatch. So, does this stack up to the big boys, the Apple Watches and the Samsung Gear and all those other expensive ones? Or should you skip it? We're going to figure that out in this review, so keep watching to find out. All right, so let's take a look at the physical design of the watch. Amazfit elected to go with a nice round watch face, it gives it more of a traditional watch look and feel. If you compare it to one of the rectangular or square smartwatches on the market, they're going to be a little bit more in your face. It's a little more obvious that, hey, this is a smartwatch, because you're not typically going to find a traditional watch with a square face. The round face makes it a little bit more low key. It also has a silicone sport band, which is fully adjustable. So if you have a big wrist, small wrist, doesn't really matter. You'll be able to fit it on your wrist. It also comes with a black band out of the box, which has an orange underside. So it gives you a little bit of an accent to the color, but it's not too bright or in your face. It goes with pretty much anything. It's actually quite nice looking. The only issue I have with the design is the button is very small. There's only one physical button on the top of the watch, and it is quite tiny. Thankfully, there is a feature that lets you enable double tapping on the screen to wake the watch up. This works most of the time, though it's not perfect. So if you don't want to use that small button, you do have the option to avoid it. But there are going to be some situations where you're going to have to hit it, and you just have to get used to the fact that it is very tiny. Still, it's a nice looking watch, and it is pretty well designed, especially when you consider just how cheap it is. All right, so now we are going to jump in and take a look at what this watch can actually do. First of all, it can obviously tell time, and it does so with 21 different watch faces, so you can kind of change the look and feel of the watch to something that suits your style. If you want a lot of information or you just want to know the time, there's probably a watch face in there that will work for you. Now, it also comes with sport modes, which you turn those on and it will do continuous heart rate tracking. It'll keep track of your miles using GPS, so you can see how far you've actually ran. Unfortunately, it doesn't have stick and ball sports or team sports in there. So for me, I was using it to play hockey. I had to choose one of the other modes. I found that the elliptical was the most appropriate for hockey just because it's the closest. But there is no football, basketball, baseball, or any other sports like that. You can substitute running in if you want GPS, but it would be nice to just have, hey, I'm playing a sport where I'm going to kind of not be stationary. I'm going to be moving around, but I'm not going to be moving around outside of just a certain field. Still, the fitness tracking features are quite nice. They sync up to your phone and you can access them at a later time, which is cool. There's also heart rate monitoring, which is done by two lights on the back of the watch. These will turn on, they'll read your pulse going through your wrist, and they'll tell you your heart rate. You can turn on continuous heart rate monitoring, or you can turn on just when you want it. Continuous is going to burn down your battery life. You're going to get, we found around 2 days with a continuous heart rate, maybe a day and a half. If you turn off continuous heart rate monitoring and just use the watch in the regular mode, you'll actually get closer to 5 days of battery life. Personally, I don't need to know my heart rate all the time, so that's how I used it. You may find that your mileage is different there and you might want to have continuous heart rate on. Just be prepared that you're going to need to charge it more often. It will also keep track of your sleep. However, I do have to call that data into question a little bit. In my testing, I did find that it was accurate as far as when I went to sleep and when I woke up, but what I found was it didn't seem to get how I was sleeping quite right. There was a couple nights where I woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and when I checked on the watch the next day, it said that I had slept the whole night through and that my time spent awake was 0 minutes. Now, I know for a fact that this isn't correct because I got up and I walked to the bathroom. So while it does get the time, I went to bed at say midnight and woke up at 9, it gets that right. It's everything in between that is a little questionable, but still it's nice to have an overall idea of how long you slept, and it does deliver that. It does estimate how much deep sleep you got, which again, I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really judge how much deep sleep I got in a night, but it does seem fairly accurate other than the fact that it missed when I woke up and went to the bathroom. Now there's also stopwatches, there's timers, it keeps track of the weather, it'll tell you upcoming weather predictions as far as if it's going to rain, going to snow. It doesn't go into super tons of detail like you would get from your smartphone with the weather app, but it gives you a broad idea of what you can expect. And it even comes with workout plans, which will actually, you input your level of fitness and it will tell you, hey, work out on this day, take this day off based on where you are in your physical fitness. So overall, I gotta say, it is quite an impressive suite of features. It does a little bit of everything and it does it all pretty well. Now, you can call into question the validity of the light-based heart rate monitors compared to ones that strap on your chest, but it does give you a relative idea of your heart rate compared to what it is doing in your resting mode. And I can clearly see in my testing, when I was resting, my heart rate was where I would expect it to be in the 70 range. And when I was playing hockey, I was getting up into the 110, 115 range, which is where I would expect it to be doing an aerobic activity such as playing hockey. So while the numbers themselves may not be dead spot on, I do know that whether or not my heart rate has gone up and down, and that is valuable information when you're trying to lose weight. So that pretty much rounds out the feature set of the watch. I gotta say, for the price, it is quite impressive. Everything that it promises to do, it does quite well. It has some flaws here and there, but they're all pretty minor, and it does stack up to what it says it's gonna do. And so now we come to the big question: should you buy the Amazfit Pace smartwatch? I would say that if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend too much money, it is actually a very good purchase. It's comfortable, it's light, it's packed with features, and it only costs about $140, which is quite a bit cheaper than most other smartwatches on the market, especially ones that come with heart rate monitoring. You may find cheaper ones, but usually they will not monitor your heart rate and your sleep and all that other detailed information that you get with the Pace. So I would say that if you are looking for a smartwatch, you don't want to break the bank, this is definitely a smart purchase to go with. I will be continuing to use it long after I'm finished reviewing it, which I think is about the highest praise that I can offer. I will not just be using this to test it. I will continue to use this smartwatch every single day. And once again, thank you to GearBest for sending us the test units. Make sure to head over there to purchase one, and make sure to head over to MakeUseOf.com to check out the full review. And we will see you guys next time.